In a second-hand set of dimensions, in an astral plane that was never meant to fly.
Everyone has a different story about how they came to Terry Pratchett's Discworld series here in the UK. If you were a kid in the 90s, you read some of them, maybe you even read all of them. There weren't as many then as there are now. I was very fortunate because the first few, the ones that established the world and the lore, were freely available in my school library. Don't get me the wrong idea, it's not like I went to some palatial private school. But back then even modest comprehensives had decently stocked libraries that carried not just educational textbooks, but also a selection of kids and young adult fiction. This was before Harry Potter had gotten children back into the habit of reading, so any way to get them face down in the pages of a book was greatly encouraged. So I had read a few of the Discworld novels by the time the game was released for the PC, and as it was at the time the only adaptation of the stories into a visual medium, it was a very exciting prospect. For the uninitiated, the Discworld books are a gently satirical series of fantasy novels poking fun at contemporary Britain of the 80s and 90s through the lens of a comedic medieval land known as the Discworld, which is a flat disc on the back of a giant turtle hurtling through space. With this backdrop, Pratchett can take a side-eyed view of different aspects of our culture in each novel, such as the notion of monarchy, the structure of law enforcement, and even the nature of death. Pratchett's gift was that he was able to keep these concepts light enough to be enjoyed by children, while still providing a solid bit of satire, and enough sci-fi and fantasy concepts to get them really thinking.
Probably as people think that fantasy just means wizards and guys with big muscles and long swords. And I was reading one of those books one day and I thought, this is not real. Let's try and make fantasy real. Let's say, what's it like to be Conan the Barbarian when you're 89? You know, it's a bit uncomfortable with the hemorrhoid ring on the saddle. You know, your back keeps giving way at the vital moment. And I thought, there are so many cliches in the fairy tale view of fantasy, of the wizards and the witches and so forth, that it may be fun just to treat them as if they were real life.
Of all the British institutions poked, prodded and lampooned in these books, it's perhaps the notion of higher education that takes the most frequent flack, with the Discworld's unseen university being where the wizards are taught magic by a thoroughly lazy and clueless bunch of elder magic men with giant beards, who suckle off the public teat to live in relative luxury and contribute next to nothing to society as a whole. You can decide how accurate or not that is for yourself, but it provides a good deal of the comedy of the first few novels and also the setting for the game.
What? Oh, they were wonderful pickles. How dare you cast aspersions on damn, I've lost it. What were we talking about again?
Pickles?
What's pickled? What? What do you mean?
Well, the eels were pickled, weren't they?
What? Pickled elves? Damn their ears. I told them to lock that liquor cupboard. Go on, boy, get after them.
You play as Rincewind the Wizard, a student or maybe member of the faculty who's been here for many years and has yet to find proper employment. As such, you get to set about foiling a plot to summon a dragon and have it go on a murderous rampage. How do you do that? Well, it's a point and click, so you collect seemingly meaningless objects and combine them in bizarre ways to drive forward a pre-written story. Look, we've talked about this kind of game before. They're either your thing or they're not, and Discworld realistically isn't going to change your mind. There's no drastic innovations or surprises in the way the game plays out, but it does have the unique advantage of being able to boast the voice acting talent of some of the most prominent and well-respected British comedians and comedic actors of the time. It's possible I didn't fully appreciate back then just how incredible the cast was, because I hadn't grown up with Monty Python. I'm slightly too young for that. But as the game released on CD-ROM, still a bit of a novelty in '95 with many games still coming out on multiple floppy disks, it allowed for fully voicing every character. Eric Idle was the main protagonist Rincewind, so you hear him more than anyone else and he turns in a really good performance.
Another busy day in the faculty, gentlemen?
We are cogitating.
I hope I heard that right, said in a knowing tone of voice, nudge nudge.
Cogitating, my lad, is that process by which the wise make space inside their minds for more ideas.
You make more space for ideas by sitting on your backside sipping a cup of milky tea.
Hit him. Hit him.
You also get Tony Robinson out of Blackadder.
Poppycock, there's no such thing. Dragons only exist if you believe in them. I don't believe in them, they don't believe in me. So we're both happy.
Rob Brydon out of literally everything, including all the adverts you've ever seen.
For just £9.50 you can get away with the sun. What do you think of that?
And John Pertwee, who was the Doctor.
Hey? A girl? What's a girl doing in here?
I'm not a girl.
Why are you wearing a dress?
It's a wizard's robe, not a dress.
I knew a girl's dress once. Splendid lass. Very good at pickling.
That's a pretty incredible lineup. And if you happen to be British, of course, it's even more impressive. And it was a big selling point for the game. After all, if you're going to play something that's mostly story, why not have the cream of UK comedy perform it for you?
Are you all right?
Pardon? Oh, yes. Never felt better. So, can I help you at all, sir? Anything special catch your eye?
Oh, just browsing.
Browsing?
Yes.
Not plotting?
Definitely not.
Not secretly planning the overthrow of the patrician and the total dominance of the city?
No, not at all.
Oh, damn. Right you are, sir. Browse away.
It gave this game a big budget feel, and a sense of being more of a cartoon adaptation of the Discworld than a game. This all fits in with how, over the next few years, games would strive to become more cinematic, and they would ape many of the aspects of film and television using the newfound graphical technology at their disposal. And this was an early example, along with The Dig, which also came out this year. It's visually along similar lines to the LucasArts games of the time, with exaggerated perspective in the backgrounds to make small screen spaces feel like large open areas to explore. And they did a great job of using the Josh Kirby original covers of the novels as inspiration for the visual style without it being entirely a copy. Kirby would actually be employed to illustrate the covers of all the Discworld games, so it really did feel in keeping with the series visually, despite none of them being written by Pratchett himself. It's not a perfect game, this one. Greg Barnett does a capable writing job as a Pratchett stand-in, but lacks the satirical bite of the main man, perhaps intentionally for a game aimed more at children. The puzzles are also on the obscure side, and it's easy to get stuck. You forget that back in the day, this was often on purpose, as they had lovely big shiny strategy guides to sell, before more than 1% of us had the internet. To be fair, not every bit of the performances are great either. You can tell it was recorded in quite a short period of time, as there are moments when it seems the actor wasn't certain about the context of a scene. And these haven't been re-recorded, so there are strange emphases and intonations here and there. But overall, it's a lovely, colourful and funny introduction to the visual adaptation of the Discworld. And there's enough great stuff here to establish it as one of the top 121 video games of all time.